So much. Good morning, the Gary Richardson Morning Show, hour number 3, live and in living color. Let me say good morning to our guest this morning, Dakarai Larriett. Good morning. How you doing, Dakarai?
Good morning, Gary.
All right, let me turn the volume up here, make sure that you're on, and you're good. How you doing this morning?
You know, it's been a busy couple of weeks since we announced our candidacy for U.S. Senate here for Alabama. So, very excited to be here with you this morning.
All right, tell us something about yourself. Who are you, where you're from, and what inspired you to run for the U.S. Senate? Is this your first run for public office?
It is my first run for public office, but I've been serving my community my entire life. So I'm born and raised from Birmingham, Alabama, born at UAB, so an Alabama original. My dad was in the Army, so we moved around quite a bit, but went to school here, graduated from Alabama School of Fine Arts, University of Alabama, and then built my career in corporate supply chain in New York. And thanks to the pandemic, I was able to move back to Alabama and spent so much time with my family and decided that it was time to come home. And I got very active in my community. I'm a driver for Meals on Wheels. I brought my business home to Alabama. I have a pet care business that I run. And I decided with all the dysfunction happening in Washington that it was time for more effective leadership.
All right, Dakarai Larriett, of all the positions and politically to run for U.S. Senate, why not a council race or something of that small magnitude, but you went for the big one?
Yes.
Okay. And why?
Well, you know, I thought about a lot of different roles that would make sense for me. And something happened to me very traumatic last year. And I thought about what's the right platform that can make a difference. So I was falsely arrested last year.
Really?
And, you know, you were just speaking about the man from Maryland and the due process that he did not get when he was sent to El Salvador. Well, that's something that really hits home to me. So I was falsely arrested, thrown in jail. Of course, in the end, I was not guilty of driving under the influence or DUI.
Wow.
But that whole process told me that we cannot have situations like that. We have to have due process, and we have to have a justice system that works for everyone. And I am so anxious to champion this cause, to ensure that everyone has an opportunity to experience due process. And we really got to think about how we stop individuals and those interactions with the police and ensure that they're fair and equitable.
So that in itself prompted you to run for the U.S. Senate?
Absolutely. We've got to change the laws. So I worked so closely with all of the individuals in the state politics. This actually happened in Michigan. And I went to my state representative, my local mayor, my public safety leaders, all the way up to the governor. And no one advocated for me. And I realized that going through the system, doing the internal investigations was not enough, and that I need a seat at the table so I can change the laws federally to ensure this type of thing does not happen to anyone else, and especially in Alabama.
Wow. So what is your common position on the person you're going to run against? Senator Tommy Tuberville.
Well, first I have to win this primary. So we have a year and 2 months to go before that time. But with regard to Tommy Tuberville, one of the most ineffective leaders in our Senate, he lacks the empathy. And that's really what it boils down to, is we need leaders that have struggled, that have built something from the ground up, and that actually care about the state and live in the state. So I'm an Alabamian, and I know that our values are not being represented in Washington.
So I know people are telling you it's a long shot for what you're doing, attempting to do, to knock off Senator Tommy Tuberville, who is contemplating on running for governor here in this state. So how do you respond to that?
Well, you know, there's been some recent news. He has decided to stick with the path of running for the Senate. So we know that he got some cold feet because of his challenge for residency. But what I will say about it is it's an audacious goal, and being audacious has served me my entire life in terms of starting my business, my career, and it's the right platform to address this issue, which needs to be resolved federally.
Okay.
Which is making our justice system work for all Americans.
So part of the game is gaining name recognition, and I guess it starts with you being on a radio program like this to put your name out there, but you're talking about a statewide race.
Yes.
And in a deeply red state. Are those things that sort of would prohibit you from seeking that thing? Obviously not.
So I've always said you have to dream big. And I strongly believe that there are the votes out there. Remember, we did this in 2017.
Right.
The votes exist for people who want leaders that they can be proud of, leaders that will fight for the right thing and not get tied up in partisan games. And I think the stomach is there for a change. As I call Alabamians every day now, folks are very angry. The teachers, for example, with everything happening in the Department of Education, when I speak to scientists and educators at UAB, their research grants, when I speak to people up in Huntsville about the cuts coming to NASA, everyone's very frustrated right now, and it's time for a change.
All right. Now, one of our listeners and viewer on Facebook Live said, "Courage is contagious. Thanks for running."
Yes.
That you're demonstrating courage. So folks often confuse courage with having common damn sense too. Now, you're going to get in this race. So, is the mother myth of campaigning is funding, campaign financing. How are you being received on that end?
So since the launch, which was on April 7th, folks are so energized. And I was mentioning to you earlier, there actually are quite a few folks entering the primary on the Democratic side. So overall, there's just an excitement and a demand for change. And I think that I'm that front runner that can win this in November of next year.
All right. You ever heard the name Wayne Sorwell? No, he is a guy who ran for U.S. Senate. He collected, I think, of 250,000 votes. Of course, he lost big time, but never heard from him again. You got to go and put his picture on a milk carton to find him. So, how do you, knowing this and knowing that others have not fared well running for U.S. Senate, I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm trying to encourage you, trying to dig in some way on this one, okay? But given that fact, how do you respond to that? Yes,
it's all about building a coalition. So thinking about all those groups that are ready for something new.
Right.
So we spoke about a few other groups around.
Whoa. Something going on in the background. All right. Hold on a second. Something is going on in the background where my music automation system is, all right, let me see. All right, that's good. Thank you. All right, go ahead.
So it's all about building a coalition. So we spoke about the teachers, the payment. Then there's that other piece of those voters who don't show up and don't feel engaged in the process. So Alabama has one of the worst participation rates in the vote. Sometimes we're in the 30s during the midterms.
Wow.
That's a huge opportunity.
Sure is.
We have to get out there, talk to those people early, which is what we're doing. We actually started working the phones in February of this year. So basically a year and maybe a half before the November election. So we're going to keep working and going out and talking to everybody.
So besides the false arrest and reforming police and all that, what
in the state gets access to those quality institutions throughout the state, and then similarly healthcare. We have healthcare deserts in the western part of the state in particular, maternity deserts as well. We have to make sure that we fund these rural hospitals, healthcare centers, ensure that everyone has access. So I think I've been incredibly lucky. I've been able to experience the best of Alabama. Like I said a little bit earlier, I was born at UAB.
Right.
How do we allow everyone to enjoy the best of Alabama? That's going to be one of my key goals.
So you're a Birmingham native.
Yes.
Yeah. Alabama School of Fine Arts.
Yes.
UAB. And you went to graduate school at NYU?
I did.
Okay. What do you major in at NYU?
Business.
Business.
Business, and with a focus on entrepreneurship, and that's what inspired me to start my business.
All right. And your business is a pet care business?
Yes.
Okay.
So I make grooming products for pets. I have a little poodle. Yes.
Products.
Exactly.
Okay.
So all types of grooming products, and we sell those products all over the U.S., Canada, Japan, and Europe.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's an unusual business to go in, and certainly non-traditional.
It's very popular. Well, think about it.
Yes.
Folks are having more pets than children these days because it's so expensive. So.
All right. Good morning. 205-942. I had a joke for that. I won't use it. All right. Let's go here. Hey, you on the air. Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Any content that is broadcast to you, yes.
Go ahead.
Good morning to you, yes.
Good morning.
About 5 minutes, yes, sir. And I didn't get a chance to get the brother's name for 5 minutes, but I definitely want to hear because you said you had...
Dakarai Larriett. Dakarai.
Mr. Larriett.
Larriett, yes.
Mr. Larriett. He's running against... He's running against... Who is he running against?
Tommy Tuberville, yeah. Tommy the Dummy Tuberville, right.
Yes, sir.
Who says the reparations, y'all just want our stuff. That's it. Okay?
Well, here you go. My question to your guest is this. Brother, there was a war between the old and the young. And if you was born in UAB, that let me know you was young. Yeah, most of my brothers, most of my sisters, they born at Hillman Hospital.
Yeah, which later changed to UAB. I was born at Hillman.
Yes.
In the basement.
Yeah.
In the basement.
But the deal is this. This is the question I want to ask you, brother. It was a question since black people been here. Young man, I'm not going to ask you to expound. There was a brother that marched with Dr. King. His name was his name was Stokely Carmichael. He changed his name to Kwame Ture. The news reporter would come up to him, brother, and say, Mr. Carmichael, do you think that blacks can achieve their human and civil rights in America through non-violent means? Now, Stokely is locked arms with Dr. King. He said, no, I'm from New York City. I just don't believe blacks will achieve their civil and human rights through non-violent means. And then let's stick the mic in Dr. King. And Dr. King said, I'm dedicated to the non-violent. But see what it is. There are brothers and sisters like you, and some people say, and I respect you for the fact. Many of us thought and think that we can change the institutions of this country by becoming part of those institutions and changing it from the inside. Well, see, Stokely was one of those cats. He didn't believe that. He didn't believe that even if the institutions change. I'm an ex-cop. I graduated from UAB with a degree in political science, but I'm not interested in political office because I know there are laws. We say we live in a democracy. That's what they tell us. With my degree from University of Alabama, my common sense, I don't think so. And we say, well, we got to protect our democracy. There have been white men in this nation, in politics, presidents. They never believed in a democracy. They come out of Europe from a tradition with institutions. They didn't practice democracy. The Romans didn't practice democracy. But here we're thinking about, our democracy.
Is somewhere in all that rhetoric is a question. Do you have a question? Or you trying to make a damn dissertation, sound like you're lecturing in a classroom?
Shut up, Capo.
Yeah, really, seriously. I mean, all that bum, and nothing connects. Good morning. One thought led to another thought, and you forget the original thought. Damn it. 205-942-8140. Hey, you on the air. Good morning. How are you? Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Richardson.
Good morning, David. Yes,
sir. Yes, sir. And good morning to your guests.
Good morning.
And your listening audience. Congratulations, sir,
Thank you so much.
On seeking this office. This is amazing. I also want to bring attention to people that sometimes we have to look to people that we may not know, but at the same time, people that may have been sent, for a time such as this. See, God is preparing people on the sidelines that may not go through the regular process, but at the same time, that person has been groomed for a great work. So I just wanted to say myself, I happen to have ran for the U.S. Senate. In 2010, I ran for the U.S. Senate.
Wonderful.
And my goal was to run against Marco Rubio. Okay? And even though I was not successful, the fact that I made this effort, it helped me to get stronger, and it helped me to consider some of the issues that affected our community and having the desire to want to make a difference. So I appreciate what you're doing, sir.
That is...
and Godspeed.
Did you run as a Republican or a Democrat when you ran?
I ran as a Democrat.
Oh, wow. That's
in Florida.
That's shocking, David.
Well, it may be. If I believe that if the message that I was trying to deliver, if the Democrats would have listened to me, then we would not be in this position right now. And I'm not giving credit to myself. I'm giving credit to the ideas that God put on my mind to try to make a difference.
Okay.
So I just wanted to share.
All right. Thank you. Good morning. 205-942-8140. I got to do something about my mount with this camera. I mean, it's just, all right. Good morning. I know what's happening. Everybody's using it, and everybody's abusing it, too. Anyway, good morning. 205-942-8140. The Gary Richardson Morning Show. Let's go here. Hi there. You are on the air this morning with our guest this morning, Dakarai Larriett, U.S. Senate candidate running for as a Democrat. Good morning. How you doing?
Fine, Mayor. Good morning to you, and good morning to the guest.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Young man, let me ask you, as a candidate, have you reached out to our state representative who is in the Democratic Party for some resources and some help? Because we know our local state Democratic Party is in disarray.
Yes.
But have you had any contact with our local representative, Ms. Terry Sewell, and maybe she can give you some insight and some guidance on how to go about running a state race?
Yes.
That would strengthen your candidacy.
Yes. So thank you for that. So that's a
and
really
thank
good
you
point
for putting
and question.
let me say this, and I'll hang up, and maybe you'll consider that and reach out to her. Maybe she will be willing to help. But let me say this to you. Thank you for at least offering yourself. You have prepared yourself to do something in life that will not just benefit yourself but others. So don't be discouraged at this point, because we know there's a lot of work to do. And you talked about apathy. You can only have apathy grow and continue when you have people that continue to confuse, straddle the fence, deceive folk with foolishness and nonsense, instead of real issues that affect their very lives. So I just want to say thank you for at least putting your name in the hat.
Yes, I appreciate that. And yes, it's all about building that coalition and support. Now, keep in mind, we're 14 months out before the primary, so it's a little bit difficult to get anyone to play favorites at this point. What I'm focused on is talking to the voters, so that's why I'm here today, and thank you so much for having me, Gary.
Sure,
I'm just calling every day, so I work the phone 6 hours a day.
Really?
I'm calling people up and down the state to introduce myself. And yes, it is a public service to run for office. I'm running full-time. I've been full-time since January of this year. And I think the previous caller made a really good point about sometimes you're sent somebody. And I want to say, have I run for office before? No, but I have 20 years of corporate experience in the Fortune 500. I am a business owner and founder. I'm a community leader and volunteer. I run an HOA. in downtown Birmingham of 60 businesses and families. So this is relevant, real experience, and I built things from the ground up.
All right. Well, that's very important. Yeah, from the ground up.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Dakarai Larriett, our guest this morning. If you would like to join in on the conversation, feel free to do so. Hey, you're on the air. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Good morning to you and to your guest.
Hey, Jeremiah.
Good morning.
Thank you, sir, for running. You give me some, so you use that magic word, Democrat. And so that pulled me out to vote. And by the way, the first caller that called, we called it Smithfield. Mm-hmm. He's a prophet like I am, but a sixth. The difference between him and me, he lost his mind in the 60s and never found.
Oh.
Sorry.
All right. All right. That's the difference, huh? All right, Jeremiah. Good morning, 205-942-8140. Dakarai Larriett, U.S. Senate candidate running as a Democrat. And the election is 14 months away. Hey, you are on the air. Good morning. How are you?
Yes, sir. Good morning to you and the candidate.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, I think in this upcoming Senate race, you might be running up against Steve Marshall. That's the game plan the way I see it. You ever thought about that?
I didn't hear the last name.
Steve Marshall, the state
Marshall,
attorney general.
the Attorney General. See, they're going to pull a switcheroo.
Well,
They want to put, ever been run for governor and the Attorney General, he run for that seat. But this being said,
we'll find out, I guess, in a few months. But the latest news this week is that Tommy Tuberville is going to run for Senate because his residency was being challenged for the governor.
Yeah, you have to have reside in this state for 7 years.
Exactly.
And he doesn't live here.
He doesn't even live here now.
Right.
can I say this, please? In order to win this upcoming Senate election, it's going to take nonpartisan issues. And two of the most nonpartisan issues that are in my mind is Social Security and Medicaid.
Yes.
And it's something that affects every citizen that lives in the state of Alabama is the funding of FEMA.
Yes.
Those two issues there, if you dwell on those two issues there, it's going to make it hard for a person not to vote for you.
Yes. And that's really what this is about, is not jumping on issues that are not going to win the general election. Mm-hmm. So we're going to do the research. Anecdotally, we know economy is number one. But we will do the research and figure out exactly what those issues are that Alabamians care about, and that's what we're going to hit hard on. There's so many other issues that do matter, but they're not going to win the general election.
Wow. Okay.
I'm talking about this, that the voting part, those people who go to the poll,
yes,
that concern them direct.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to have to have Caucasian support to win this thing.
Absolutely.
And everybody, see right now, we don't have the FEMA funding with all these disasters that's come through Alabama. Mm-hmm. And the majority of the voting populace, they on Social Security and Medicaid. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you lock horns with. Just consider those two issues, if you will.
Yes, I will absolutely make a note of that.
Thank you. 205-942-8140. Let's go here. Hi there, you on the air. Good morning.
Gary Richardson.
Hey, North Birmingham, how you doing?
North Birmingham in the house. Let me speak to your guest.
Yes, sir.
Morning.
I too want to thank him for running. The way I see it is you're laying a foundation for those who might come behind you. But what you need to do is talk more to those who does not vote, such as the Republican white people. They don't know who's against them. They don't know that they're fighting against their own self. Mm. They don't know that because all the hospitals are closing in the rural area, that it's the KI with the Republicans that deny them that insurance that Obamacare had brought. They don't know that. They don't know that the broadband that President Biden put out there for them to spread through the rural area where they can have internet. They don't know why they stopped that. So I want you to explain to them that what they don't know is take them and understand that what you say, they'll listen and it'll weigh on them over. But what I see you doing is laying the groundwork like John did for Jesus, you know? And you letting them know that the Messiah is coming. You may not be the one that did that. But you put your first bricks in the stone. That's the way I see it. We need to let young people know that we done got over age. We can't do this kind of work no more. And it's going to take young people like you. And so I encourage you, brother, to keep laying the groundwork because these white people say, hey, the bus going to the VA yesterday. All quiet on the bus for shelter bus. The white people are so quiet, they don't know what's going on. So we got to let them know where their pain is coming from. And you, my brother, you can do it. Thank you.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate your call. All right, 205-942-8140. Our guest this morning, Dakarai Larriett, U.S. Senate candidate. He's going to run as a Democrat. When does the primary election start? Yeah.
It will be the Tuesday after Memorial Day of next year. So
all right.
End of May next year will be the primary.
Well, you're doing right starting out early to get out there because it's an uphill climb. You know that. All right, good morning in this deeply red state of Alabama, and he's running as a Democrat. Wow, that takes courage and conviction within itself. Good morning.
I like to say it's a suppressed state, so we've got to get our folks out there, get them energized, and that's why we're starting early. All
right, good morning. Got to take a break, folks. We'll be right back with more of the Gary Richardson Morning Show after this.
Any content that is broadcast live on Richardson Broadcasting Corporation is the sole property of Richardson Broadcasting Corporation and may not be used without the express written consent of Richardson Broadcasting Corporation.
The Gary Richardson Morning Show. The Gary Richardson Morning Show.
Join us every fourth Wednesday from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. to Spotlight Jefferson County. Gain valuable insights and learn how to effectively navigate the various departments of the Jefferson County Commission while discovering a wealth of available resources. This is made possible by the Jefferson County District 2 Community Fund. Remember, every fourth Wednesday, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Be sure to call in with your questions on Spotlight Jefferson County.
At Holy Family Crystal Ray, students don't just learn. They work with top companies like Blue Cross Blue Shield, Alabama Power, and Vulcan Materials. Through our corporate work study program, students gain real-world experience while preparing for college and career success. Now enrolling for fall 2025, visit hfcrystalray.org or text or call 205-202-1291.
Come to Piggly Wiggly for the freshest meats and produce. Our meats are hand-cut in-store, and we're proud to be locally owned and operated. We've been serving our communities for decades, and our friendly service will keep you coming back. Plus, our prices are unbeatable, and we offer weekly specials that you won't want to miss. Don't wait. Visit a Piggly Wiggly near you today. See you soon at Piggly Wiggly.
Join 104.1 WJLD, Mayor Gary Richardson, Austin Richardson, and Midfield City Schools for the 4th Annual Midfield City Schools Autism Awareness Walk, Saturday, April 26th, 9 o'clock a.m. Walk will start at the Midfield Board of Education, 417 Parkwood Street in Midfield. Experience food, fun, raffles, and games. Help raise awareness and celebrate the unique strengths and talents of individuals diagnosed with autism. Show your support to the families and friends living with autism. All community groups, churches, schools, and Greek organizations are encouraged to attend, and all will be recognized during our opening ceremony. Free autism awareness t-shirts to the first 100 participants. To register, make a donation, volunteer, or to receive more information, call 205-587-5174.
Carver Jones Market, a new community cornerstone. James Harris founded this market to fight food insecurities, bring healthy options to the community. We're more than groceries. We build community, creating jobs and fostering hope. We provide affordable, fresh choices that will empower neighborhoods. Carver Jones Market, a place to connect, learn, and grow. Find us at 4800 Gary Avenue in downtown Fairfield. At Carver Jones Market, you are what you eat. Dream and build.
Join me, Isis Jones, weekdays from noon to 3 o'clock for your midday groove.
information, interviews, and so many ways to win. Wrapped up nicely inside all the best Southern soul and old school you can stand. Exclusively on WJLD 104.1.
Yeah.
The Gary Richardson Morning Show. Nobody talks like this.
All right, we're back here on the Gary Richardson Morning Show. If you have any questions, comment, or concern for our guest this morning, Dakarai Larriett, he's a candidate for the United States Senate, running as a Democrat next year's election. All right, let's go. Hey, you on the air. Good morning.
Hey, good morning there again, Gary.
Hey, yes,
good morning to your guest.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning, guest. Gary, you got to catch up to the times, man. That man got a great business when it comes to pets, man. I can see he got a business.
Really?
Hey, and then the man got him in Japan.
Yeah, you're right. I'm old school. You know, I grew up with the dogs living outside. Yeah, I know.
No, they're babies now.
Yeah. I'm hopping to apply for a job. I'm telling you.
That's funny.
Question,
sure.
My question is, young man, that if elected to Senate, what are some of your policies you want to articulate for the Democrat Party in the black community, or just in the community and people that you represent as a whole?
Well,
now hang up in this.
Sure, thank you.
Well, of course, this is a statewide position.
Yeah.
And so it's an opportunity to represent all Alabamians. And like I said a little bit earlier, we've got to do the analysis. Before we make a decision, we have to do the surveys, and we're going to go out and talk to people. So I've spoken to probably about 3,000 families in the state so far. The number one thing is going to be getting better jobs and more of those jobs into the state and creating an environment where companies want to stay here. And I think about my personal situation. I graduated from Alabama in 2004. My dream job was to work at Saks. I didn't get that job. There was nothing else in that field for me left in the state, let alone Birmingham. So I had to move to New York, and that's where I built my career, bought my first home, started, businesses and, paid mortgages and all of that that I could have been doing here in Alabama.
Right.
So if we have a better education system, we're also attracting businesses, and then we're also thinking about our public safety. I think it all works together to create a very interesting cycle that helps all Alabamians. And then, of course, we talked a little bit earlier about healthcare. That impacts all Alabamians, regardless of their race.
All right, Dakarai Larriett, U.S. Senate candidate, our guest this morning, 205-942-8140. Hey, you on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, and good morning to your guest there.
Good morning.
Dakarai. And it's good to see, like one of the other callers said, it's time for the young people to step out. But it's also time for us to support the young people as they step out to run for these different positions. And so what I need to know and what we need to know, what can we do to support you? If it's joining telephone banks or whatever, these retirees can do that. So just hang up, and then you can just give some information on what we can do to help you.
Tremendous question. Thank you for asking. So as we talked about a little bit earlier, we're a year and 2 months before the primary. We're starting early so we can win. It costs $10 million to win this seat and to be competitive in Alabama. And that's a low number. There are other states like Ohio where it's hundreds of millions of dollars. So $10 million is what it takes to be viable. That's what Doug Jones did. Today, a year and 2 months out, what I need is donations. So our website is DakaraLarriett.com. We're also on ActBlue. Any donation amount will make a difference. And what does it do? It allows us to amplify my voice. I can only talk to one person at a time, when I'm calling. On this radio show, I've had a great opportunity to talk to thousands of people, but I want to talk to all 5 million Alabamians, and that takes a lot of money. For example, next month we're going to send out a mailer. Guess what? Each mailer costs $1. So it's $10,000 for me to talk to 10,000 people in the state. There's still 5 million more people I want to talk to. So that's how you can help me. today. Now, next year, it's going to become phone banking and getting out and door knocking and all that good stuff. But today, we need donations at DakaraiLarriett.com or ActBlue, where you can find our information.
All right, and Dakarai is spelled Dakarai. All right, you never find that on a little thing in the Walmart rack. That's for certain.
No, my mom found it in a baby book, so it actually means happiness.
Okay, means happiness. All right, all right. Good morning, Dakarai Larriett, our guest this morning here on the Gary Richardson Morning Show. Hey, you on the air? Good morning.
Hey, Gary, how you doing this morning?
I am great, thanks. How are you?
Hey, this is Gardendale.
Hey, Gardendale.
You know, all the car have to do is keep the one thing in mind: Doug Jones and Roy Moore. All the parties said that Roy Moore was going to win that election. Doug Jones won.
Yep.
And you just keep that on your mind and know that people is tired of what's going on in Alabama, because a lot of the stuff that's going on in Alabama should be going on because we don't have the right type of people.
Yeah, but what helped Doug Jones was Senate Shelby said he could not endorse Roy Moore. And that sent, about 20-some
so
thousand.
people in Alabama are sick and tired.
Right.
And people in Alabama are sick and tired of that kind of stuff. So they want somebody that's authentic and wants to serve the people and not themselves.
Oh, yeah.
So you have another person that
serving
really
the God in Trump, because Tommy Tuberville, he thinks that Trump is a god. And he can't do any
and that's what Alabama,
he can't do
and
any
people in Alabama don't need that.
Right.
He shouldn't even be a representative of Alabama.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, because of the way he just carries himself, he can't even carry a normal conversation about anything. He was thinking that the ships leave the Panama Canal to go overseas, and everything leaves from West Coast.
Yeah.
So you know he don't know anything.
Well, you know, they asked him how he was going to like being in Washington. He said, I heard Seattle is beautiful this time of year.
See, that kind of thing. And see, that would make people that Alabama is behind. And you're just coming along at the perfect time. And you got a good chance of winning. And you starting at the right time, because people is tired of this dumbness that goes on in Alabama.
Oh, yeah. Hey, thank you, Gardendale. Appreciate you.
Alabamians want a representative that they can be proud of.
Yeah.
So they're not embarrassed.
Right.
And, not an SNL skit.
Yeah.
You know, we can move past this. We can certainly do better, and we deserve better.
Hey, Gardendale, I didn't know there were black folks out there, because I saw the TV commercial for Gardendale. I didn't see not a single black face on that commercial. Anyway, just my observation. Hang on, folks. We'll be right back.
The Gary Richardson Morning Show. The Gary Richardson Morning Show.
Do you need landscaping work done? Call Newell Landscaping. If it's laying sod or plants, irrigation, retainer walls, dirt work, excavating, tree pruning, or grass cutting, call 205-531-1081. That's 205-531-1081. Call Newell Landscaping for all landscaping needs. The name to remember is Newell Landscaping at 205-531-1081.
Injured in a car accident that was not your fault? Or maybe you need help in planning your estate and need a will. No case is ever too small for Richardson Law. For help with your legal needs, contact attorney Gary Richardson Jr. at 205-903-7314. That's 205-903-7314. Richardson Law, the law firm of service, integrity, and commitment.
I'm attorney Gary Richardson Jr. Give me a call and let me be your attorney.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Hi, this is Daryl Johnson, your Drive Time Music Mind, inviting you to join me weekdays from 3 until 7 for the D-Train right here on WJLD 104.1.
Hey, do you have a cell phone? Well, go ahead and add the all-new WJLD app. It's free and inside your Google Play Store or your Apple Play Store. The WJLD app. Take us with you any and everywhere you go.
The Gary Richardson Morning Show. Nobody talks like this.
All right, we're back here on the Gary Richardson Morning Show. 205-942-8140. Let's go. Boom. Hey, you on the air. Thanks for holding. Good morning.
Hey, yeah, good morning, Courtney P.
Hey, Courtney P, what's up?
Hey, I just want to wish you, Mr. Larriett, am I saying your name correctly?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, man, hey, man, I'm very impressed, bro. Like, you seem like someone that comes from a diverse background, just listening where you went to high school, as well as where you went to college, and then, speaking on your pet platform, in regards to the pet world, man, I wish you nothing but the best, man. And so what I'm going to do is I wish you looking, and also you can share with the people, like if you have a website that you can reference people to just to kind of speak more about you and, some of your plans. I know you said you got to get out and talk to people, but just something preliminary where I can go and look and find some additional.
Well, the website is built out. That's the first thing we did, DakaraLarriett.com, DakaraLarriett, and you can also just Google, and it has all of our platforms and what we want to do when we get to Washington.
All right.
Okay. Cool, bro. Thank you, Gary. Y'all have a good one. And good luck to you, bro.
Thank you so much.
All right. Good morning. Let's go here, line 3. And thank you for being there. Let's go. Hi there. You are on the air. Good morning.
Good morning. Breaking news out of the Silver State. I say the Silver State. I normally say the Mississippi of the West. But that's a history that's for another day.
Sure.
That's a deep history. But let's take a look at Katie Britt and Tommy the Dummy Tuberville.
Sure.
And then look at the Silver State, Cortez Masters, and Classy Jackie Rosen that we supported. But here's the key. There is the mining and gaming industry, which has a hand in our elected officials. So who's on your side, sir? What special interest groups? You're going up against the supremacy, the institution of Montgomery, Alabama, the good old boys, the Jim Crow family. How do you combat that? And then they just said, in this show this morning, there was a report that you're 6 on the list as one of the poorest states. So how could you, as a black man, overcome those odds? Have you met Yolanda Flowers? Have you remedied some of the problems that she had with the Democratic Party? These are all issues I'd like to have you expound on if you can.
Thank you, Las Vegas, for checking in. Go right ahead.
Great question. So, again, it goes back to being super broad about who we reach out to. So, while I've been focusing on calling families in Alabama, we're raising money all outside of the state as well, in addition to here in Alabama. So we've gotten donations from California, Alaska a couple weeks ago, multiple donations from Alaska, believe it or not. So really expanding the network and showing that this is an opportunity to take back the Senate. So it's not just a race for Alabama, it's a national race, and we're positioning in that way. And just expanding who we speak to in the media, so that we expand our voice about these important issues that impact the state.
All right. Good morning, Dakarai Larriett, our guest this morning, candidate for U.S. Senate. Let's get back to the phone lines. Hi there. You are on the air. Good morning.
Hey, Gary, don't start nothing. There won't be nothing, man. My neighbors is black. My neighbor across the street is a Mexicans. We from melting pot here in Gardendale. Don't start nothing. There won't be nothing.
I was messing with the mayor if he was listening. So, hey, I appreciate it.
There won't be nothing, man.
All right. Hey, thanks. All right. Good morning, 205-942-8140. Hey, you on the air. Good morning. How are you?
Hey, I'm Gary. Back at you.
Pretty good. How are you?
All right. Hey, it's a term that I wanna visit.
Sure.
It's ubiquitous.
Yeah.
And we have varying ways of looking at things. But what has served you into ubiquity is the love of this money, and what we are realizing as a world, as a people, is that people hide behind these monikers to serve different interests. And what I'm saying is, people have lost faith in the political aspects of life, because what happens is, in the front end of things, they sound good. You give us a lot of talk, and next thing you know, you don't hear anything else for another 2 years or what have you. And so this is the shift, ubiquitous to us now. What is our end game? What are we striving towards? If it's just some manner of self-gain, then what's the need for us supporting an individual, be it a minister or a politician or whatever your profession? You know, because what is ubiquitous to us, what is all serving to us, is not this money. Guess what? The dollar is losing its value. Have you? God bless.
Okay, I assume somewhere loaded in there was a question. All right, good morning, 205-942-8140. Hey, you are on the air. Good morning.
Good morning again, Mayor, good morning to you,
Sure.
Mr. Larriett.
Morning.
So, just to piggyback a little bit off the last call, I believe it was Nephew, where he said the dollar is losing its value. The dollar is not losing its value in Alabama. It's gaining its value because it's gaining the value to those who can afford to eat, to live, to be housed, to drive a car, to buy the gasoline, to get the food out of the grocery stores.
Right.
The one thing I'm going to do, definitely, is check more into you, Mr. Larriett. I'm not talking about digging dirt or anything like that. I want to hear more about your issues, more about what you plan to do for the state of Alabama running in the Senate. But the one thing that I hope you do, don't forget to remind the people that Tommy is saying no pain, no gain. So for those who are in pain right now, you don't have a gain because you could die while waiting to receive that gain. So help the people to remember, no pain, no gain. Tommy Tuberville is the one that's stating this. So if he wants to see you in pain, see him out of office. I hope I get a chance to talk with you personally because I would really like to also be in the running of your campaign, being on the ground up to help us see no pain, no gain. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. I told you, WJLD, the Gary Richardson Morning Show, home to the super voters. These people don't play around when it comes to election. Our folks get out there and vote. That's awesome. They are the super voters. They really are. 205-942-8140, the Gary Richardson Morning Show. And our guest this morning, Dakarai Larriett, U.S. Senate candidate. And we're about 13 to 14 months out from the election, from the Democratic primary. And he's throwing his hat in the race. Wow. All right, let's go. 205-942-8140. Hey, you on the air. Good morning.
See, you're wrong, Gary.
Huh? Said the heat is
You're
on. Okay.
Yeah, you're wrong. So you knew I was going to call in and tell that young man if he keeps showing up on JLD, home of the super voters, he's a true.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
You stole my thunder.
That's funny.
But I'm telling you, young man, you were in the right place. I want to echo, I want to second up what Gary said. Your message will get out to all of Alabama because you're on the World Wide Web.
Okay.
And, hey, you're on the right, you're starting off on the right foot. Congratulations. And I'm behind you 100%.
Well, we know one thing. He's at least smart enough to come here, right?
Thank you. I'll take that.
All right.
Hey, you got Tommy the Dummy beat already.
See, if he doesn't do anything else right, he done that one right. All right, I got you. Hey, bro, I appreciate your call. 205-942-8140. Dakarai Larriett, U.S. Senate candidate here in the state of Alabama. Anyway, running against Tommy the Dummy Tuberville. You know, this man bragged about the Northern Beltline coming to Alabama, did not even vote for it. Not a single Republican in Alabama voted for the Northern Beltline. Terry Sewell's the only one who actually voted for that infrastructure bill that President Biden put forth. In fact, Governor Kay Ivey at the same time was getting all this money from the feds, said she couldn't think of a single reason to say anything nice about Joe Biden, so she won't say anything at all, which is ridiculous. And I don't know how these people are allowed to have their cake and eat it, too. You're going to brag about the Northern Beltline, but you didn't even vote for it. Same with Gary Palmer, did the same thing. He shows up at a ribbon cutting, didn't even vote for it. How you fix yourself? That's hypocritical, yes. Or just they think that the world is not watching, the people are not watching?
These are the partisan games that Alabamians are sick of.
Right.
And I think about the hold of military promotions.
Yes.
A couple of years back.
Yeah.
I come from a military family.
Yes.
He destabilized that entire group of folks.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Good morning. Don't get me started. Doing the roll call on all the inept decisions and comments this man has made. He's just super dumb. Hey, good morning. You are on the air. How you doing?
All is well, Gary. How are you doing? Good morning to you and your guest.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was looking at Facebook, and I know this young man. I just let Facebook for Mary.
Okay.
But first of all, Gary, I want to wish my wife, Dr. Phyllis Owen Jones, a happy birthday today.
Absolutely. Happy birthday, Phyllis. Is she running for re-election out in Fairfield City Council?
She's thinking about it, Gary, and her mind is headed toward that way. Yes, she is.
All right. I hadn't officially made up your mind. Got until June 10th anyway, so.
That's right.
Okay.
We're taking our time, and when you see me putting out signs, you'll know we're running.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations.
I got you. Hey, thanks. And Phyllis, happy birthday and many happy returns, okay?
Yes, and no doubt about it. DK, we're going to support you. Anything that we can do, we're going to be there for you, my brother.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right. Dakarai Larriett. So that's your nickname, DK?
Some people have tried to make that a
really?
nickname.
Okay. All right. DK.
We're going to do everything we can for you.
It's easier to spell.
And God bless you, man. Godspeed. We with you.
Thank you. All right. Good morning. It's the Gary Richardson Morning Show. Dakarai Larriett, our guest this morning, candidate for the United States Senate. He's running as a Democrat in the Democratic primary next year. Hi there, you are on the air. Good morning.
Hey, man, that young man sound good.
Okay.
And some of these folks been in that position. They need to get behind them. Some of these Democrats been dying there a long time.
Wow.
Yeah, that young man sound real good, man. How about it?
Hey, thank you. All right.
Yeah.
Fresh face, fresh ideas. How about that? All right. Good morning, 205-942-8140. Your website, DakaraiLarriett.com. Wow. Now that's a challenge. I'm sorry, that's a challenge.
But hey, I remember when Barack Obama was a challenge. So I was in business school, and I remember someone saying that name.
Yeah.
And I said, "There's no way he's going to win. No one can spell it. No one can spell it."
Yes.
And now,
and see what happened. You're right. You're right.
It's my name. I love it. My mom gave it to me.
Look, Carl, and make the best of it. Absolutely. And sound like you have. You really have. You've gone and gotten yourself educated. Then not only that, you created your own business.
Yes.
And that's a notable characteristic of someone holding public office, because at this point you own yourself.
Yes.
Nobody owns you. All right. Nobody can dictate to you when you can come and when you can go. You're your own boss.
Exactly.
And you make that a candidate for office make a better candidate when they own themselves.
Yes.
Right. And we send too many folks down there who other folks own.
Yeah.
And control.
Yeah.
And I'm just not making a blanket general statement. That is true. And it's so important that you own yourself.
Yes.
That is so important, because you're independent at that point. You can make independent decisions. Yeah.
And I also serve the community. I already do.
Yes.
I want to serve the community in a bigger way. So I mentioned earlier I drive for Meals on Wheels. It's a great opportunity to see the city, to see the seniors every day. Sometimes you're the only person they see that day.
Wow.
And it hurts my heart to think that we may lose funding from week to week because of what's going on with Doge.
Right.
I also volunteer for the Humane Society, so I love my animals. So same thing. These are animals that they don't get all the coddling that we, give our animals at home. So I go and walk them and make sure that they're good. So it's so important that one comes from a history of serving the community and then looks for that bigger opportunity. And I also mentioned a little bit earlier that I serve on my HOA board. I was the founding board member. That's like running a little city, if you will.
Yes,
right?
it is.
So running a budget. So I have those skills. And it's also given me a great opportunity to work with City Councilor Quinn, as well as the mayor, on getting some issues resolved with the initial construction of the building.
All right, Dakarai Larriett. Remember that name. I'm certain he'll be back. And he has a website, DakaraLarriett.com, if you need more information. Of course, this appearance this morning paid for by the committee to elect Dakarai Larriett, U.S. Senate, here in Jefferson County. Thank you, sir, for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you.